I just saw the most recent Xbox podcast, and honestly, the internet was really freaking out over nothing. I was actually about to make a video. I was already editing a video that I had made talking about the rumors that were going around and everything, but I was like, you know what? Let me wait just a little bit more to hear something from Xbox themselves. And it's a good thing I did that, because after watching this podcast, it's clear that Xbox is changing in some ways, but for the most part, this is nothing really to overreact or freak out about. So in this podcast, Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, Matt Booty, essentially everybody who's in charge with Xbox right now and anything to do with it, whether it's Game Pass, the systems, making games, everything there, they were there in this podcast and they were talking about the future of Xbox and, essentially like not directly addressing all the rumors, by literally saying like, hey, Halo and Gears aren't going anywhere, but that's essentially what they said. And honestly, a lot of the rumors that were going around the internet about Halo MCC going to PlayStation, Gears and all this other crazy shit, and people saying that Xbox was dying and people literally going out to sell their Series X systems and sell all their Xbox games, I'm sure they definitely regret that now. And I personally was watching all this shit go down, like literally seeing people make tweets about selling their Series X and selling their games, and I was thinking, this to me just seems really crazy. I'm just going to wait and see what Xbox themselves has to say. And like I said in the opener of the video, I was actually already editing a video that I had made talking about and addressing those rumors about the MCC going to the PS5, about the Gears of War going to PS5, because, it's no secret that Xbox still, in my opinion, struggles in really great and amazing AAA exclusive titles when you compare them to Sony and what they have going on over there with their AAA exclusives. But I also can't lie, seeing that in this podcast they were talking about the fact that exclusives aren't dead for them. Like, they're still going to make exclusive games for Xbox. It's only a matter now of time to see whether those games are going to be really great or not. But exclusive games for Xbox, that's not something that they've forgotten about. And apart from that, they're not, Xbox isn't dying. Halo isn't going to PlayStation. Gears isn't going to PlayStation. Other franchises, if Fable ever were to come back, I would doubt that would go to PlayStation. But overall too, with this podcast, it's clear that, or at least what I could understand, it seems like what Xbox is doing isn't that different to what PlayStation has already done with a few of their major, AAA exclusives. You can play Spider-Man 2018 on the PC. You can play Days Gone on the PC. I think Detroit Become Human, Death Stranding on PC. Like, you can play a lot of heavy hitters that came out on the PlayStation that were exclusive to only PlayStation for a while on PC now. And after this podcast, from what I could understand, it seems like Xbox is going to be heading in that direction as well, with Hi-Fi Rush, Pentiment, I think not Starfield, because they actually said that Starfield and Indiana Jones are some of the games that aren't going to be going anywhere. Those are going to remain PC and Xbox exclusive. And of course, as we all know, AAA exclusives in the future are going to be going to Game Pass day one. But I do know for a fact that Hi-Fi Rush, Pentiment, and I think two other games, I'm forgetting what they're called right now, but those four games are, confirmed essentially after this podcast too. It was confirmed that they're going to be going to PlayStation at some point. But keep in mind, these are Xbox games that were exclusive for a little over a year. So it's similar to what PlayStation did in that these games were Xbox exclusive for a good amount of time, and now they're also going to be playable, and they're essentially going multi-plat in a way, because they're going to be playable on Xbox and PlayStation in the future. And if that's what they do, with new IPs that are coming out from all the countless studios that Xbox has purchased in the last couple of years, and if they do that with games that are, essentially new IPs or newer, and maybe sequels to games that we haven't seen in a long time, I'm fine with that. Again, I highly doubt we're going to be seeing, staple franchises like Halo and Gears, Forza, Fable, if it ever comes back. I doubt we're going to see those going to PlayStation. But again, other things, I'm fine with that in my opinion. Now, I do want to address something that Phil Spencer said in the podcast. I don't remember exactly where, but it's going to be linked in the description if you haven't seen it yourself. He said something about exclusive games where he said that he doesn't see, like, in the next 5 to 10 years, exclusive games being that big of a deal anymore. And personally, I didn't really know if he was saying that to kind of just try and save face for the fact that, yeah, the elephant in the room is that Xbox still really hasn't had, amazing AAA exclusive titles since probably the Xbox One era, and since then it's been very hit or miss, even with the Series X era. But now, I wasn't sure if he was saying it to kind of save face for that, or if he really genuinely believes that, and because he and along with everybody at Xbox, it seems, and with the inclusion of Game Pass and everything, are trying to really push an all digital future on the industry where it would be much easier for people to play various AAA games and releases kind of multi-platform on PlayStation, on Nintendo's flagship flagship platform, on whatever the next Xbox is going to be called, on these systems of the future. But personally, I thought that was a little bit of a crazy claim to make. The fact that he, in like the next 5 to 10 years, he doesn't see exclusives being that big of a deal. I definitely see where he's coming from, and you have to keep in mind that I'm just a guy on the internet. I'm not a gaming analyst. I'm not a business analyst. I don't know the ins and outs, and of course it goes without saying that I'm not in this industry or nearly as involved as somebody like literally Phil Spencer himself. But I have to say, I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty crazy to me to hear him say that he doesn't think exclusives are gonna be that big of a deal, because come on, look at the sales numbers. PS5 recently, it was reported that, and a lot of people were reporting on the fact that the PS5 essentially has outsold the Series X 2-1. Now, I am in no way trying to feed into any console war bullshit or any of that stupid stuff here on my channel, because I absolutely hate that shit, but I have to be real. The numbers don't lie, and the facts are that exclusives can still definitely be system sellers. If you look at the Spider-Man franchise, those 3 games have been amazing for PlayStation and the PS4 and PS5, and you can look at other titles too on the PlayStation. Now, of course, again, because I'm not trying to feed into the console wars, I have to, also mention the fact that Game Pass has been a huge success for Microsoft and Xbox. To say that it's been a success would be a huge understatement, because it really is clear that, not only does this model of delivering games to your fans and monetization work, but it's also clear that they know what they're doing with it. And the fact that, we're going to be seeing AAA exclusives to Xbox and PC continue to release day one on Game Pass, I think is a great thing for everybody, who has an Xbox, who has a PC, who even subscribes to Game Pass to begin with. But I also have to be honest, I would love to see more focus put on truly amazing AAA exclusives for the Xbox, for this platform, because even though they did say, and it's true that exclusives aren't going anywhere, it's not like they've completely forgot that, yes, they have to make exclusive games. I'm just saying that only time will tell how good these exclusives will actually be. Personally, if you asked me, one of the exclusive Xbox titles that I'm most excited for has to be Avowed. That game, since they even announced it, I've been really hyped about it. But I also can't lie, there are other games that were announced years ago. I'm looking at you, XL Mecha. For those of you, like all 5 of you out there who actually know what I'm talking about, what the hell happened to XL Mecha? That's a perfect example of a game that I really want to see and I need to see more about, because that game, when it was being marketed way back in like 2020 and a little bit in 2021, I think, that game looked insane to me. That's definitely a game that I want to see come to Xbox, because an exclusive like that, for example, looks like it's taking a lot of risks with the first-person shooter genre, something that's been well known and stuff like that. I feel like riskier, more unique titles is definitely what Xbox could benefit from, considering the fact that, yes, they have such a huge reach, with what they can deliver to how many people because of Game Pass, because they have that perfect kind of hybrid delivering system of games where, you can have PC fans, you can have Xbox fans, you can have people playing your games on their phones, or on their laptops or whatever. So it's definitely something that I want to see more focus on in the future. But overall, it seems like Xbox, it's just business as usual, man. They're just trying to make as much money as they can, for as long as they can. Now, again, I can't lie, the saddest part to me about this podcast, the saddest thing to come out of it, is the fact that, yeah, it's pretty clear that Xbox just doesn't really care about physical media anymore, or truly, preserving games in that real way of game preservation, in my opinion, which is keeping physical media alive. It was confirmed recently that, they did essentially shut down the physical games department, like the people that were in charge of printing and releasing those games. So that is a huge shame, in my opinion, as somebody who's determined to collect physical media for as long as he can while he still can. But besides that, and other than that, I can't lie, this was a pretty cool podcast, and it was just, really good and kind of like a sigh of relief, in my opinion, to see them really just kind of dispel the rumors and be like, all right, you know what, that was just kind of bullshit. This is everything you need to hear directly from, the horse's mouth, directly from people at Xbox, so it was a great thing to see. But yeah, with all that being said, let me know what you think about the current state of Xbox, if this podcast, if you saw it, and if you didn't, again, it's going to be linked in the description. My name's Nico. Thank you so much to all of you for watching this video. Let me know, along with that, what you also think about the future of Xbox, the future of this brand, the future of whatever franchise or exclusive franchise you've been a fan of from Xbox in the past, over 20 years now. Yeah, let me know. With all that being said, thanks again for watching. Make sure to comment, subscribe, like, turn on notifications, whatever you want to do. I'll see all of you in the next one.